There are also things like the general education for the CSU that are available at all counseling centers and most of the websites of the community colleges specifically, and how each class, whether it be social science or humanities or physical science or English, will count for general education. There's also the intersegmental general education transfer curriculum, which is something that works for students that want to keep their options open. That's something I did when I was a community college student. I wasn't sure that if I wanted to go to a UC or CSU or a private, so I pursued the IGETC. Now there's an intersegmental general education transfer curriculum for STEM majors as well. There are also associate transfer degrees. So really finding out what one's goal is, but a lot of these pathways, whether it's the general education or even more specifically the associate transfer degrees, can really lead a student towards the correct path to transfer. But the most helpful thing really will be consultation regularly, at least once or twice a semester with an academic counselor, so that there's no confusion and that students are not taking courses that are unnecessary. Or even, like in my case, when I was in school, I thought a history class would count for 2 things, and it didn't. So I had to come back in the summer in order to transfer to UC Berkeley. So you don't want to self-advise as a student. Really consult with the professionals, because they're getting all the updates and trainings from the universities about what's required, and also getting direction from the state chancellor's office about the latest and greatest in updates.
Yeah, I think that's really important advice, because I remember speaking to a veteran teacher. She was talking about the importance the skills that a student needs to go to community college is being determined, efficient, and the key word is organized, because it could be complicated, but they don't have to do that by themselves. So at any community college, they could schedule a counseling appointment and understand, like, what is this IGETC? I hear there's a transfer agreement, and that's great. They refer to that as SIS.org. And also, too, there has been more transfer agreement guarantees. There's been some for a while for the UC system, and then you guys have built up relationship with historical Black colleges, the HBCUs as well. But now there's also guarantee for some students to go transfer into private California schools. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So now that they're in around 2012, we started developing these associate transfer degrees, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, for transfer specifically, and that they call it a degree with a guarantee at the state chancellor's office, and those actually created even additional priorities. So historically, California community college students who completed their major preparation and general education reaching 60 transferable units would get priority admission to all UCs and CSUs. They would be priority number 1 for admission. But they've actually taken it to another level with these associate transfer degrees. So the CSUs were the first to sign on to these associate transfer degrees, giving students a GPA bump, also ensuring that they would go directly into upper division coursework, priority registration. So that was a real win for students in the community college system, the associate transfer degrees. And now private universities are accepting them. Schools like Mills and Pepperdine, for example, are accepting these associate degree for transfers to give California community college students priority admission as well. Yeah, and the UC system, too, is making space for eligible students, and they've actually made a commitment to accept more California community college students by creating this memorandum of understanding with the California community college system. So I believe it's about a 20% increase in California community college admission over the last 4 years.
Yeah, so there's this really new direction, dedication to the like California educational plan, right? Because if you're a high school student who doesn't get admitted to some schools for whatever reason, you may even have a better pathway going through the community college to gain access to a lot of variety of different schools. And with that associate degree transfer guarantee program, they'll get an associate degree. So they'll have even a higher leg up because they'll get an associate degree already, then go into a 4-year university and then have a bachelor's degree and associate degree. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's correct. And I think that that's really something that's important for students to think about, and I can certainly attest to that. Again, I've been working in the community college system for over 12 years, but before that I was a student in the community college system, and at the time I was wondering, what is this going to lead to, but it ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made. At the time, I didn't think so or no, but it really opened up a lot of doors for me, and I ended up getting into UC Berkeley after finishing my time at community college. So a lot of times students will sometimes feel peer pressure from peers or their family members or friends, and I think that's unfortunate sometimes because students may settle for maybe their second, third, fourth, fifth choice university when they can come to a community college and get some great support, have that priority admission, and still have their top choice university there on the table. And I've worked with a number of students where that's been the case, and they've been able to transfer to UC Berkeley or transfer to an Ivy League school or UCLA or UC San Diego or University of Southern California, all as examples where students transfer to from our California community colleges.
No, it's really important. It hits home because my sister, who was first gen, she was so undecided about her major, and she knew she did not know all the different colleges out there, and she really wanted to go to college best fit. So she decided to go to City College of San Francisco to explore all her options and opportunities, and she found her second home at UC Davis. And a lot of people forget, if you transfer into a 4-year university, your degree looks no different than anybody else. And for her, she was able to expand all her other different experiences and found that second home. But she needed that extra time of exploration through a community college. And so City College of San Francisco was a great opportunity for her.
That's great to hear. Yeah, and that's absolutely true that it is a lot of times a second home for students. In fact, so, oftentimes we'll get what are called reverse transfers, where students will start out at a university and for whatever reason it's not a good fit or it doesn't work out, and they'll come to community college and try a new path. So we recently, one of our student ambassadors here at City College of San Francisco was actually a student in Canada, but graduated from a San Francisco high school and went on after high school to go to this university in Canada. It didn't work out for the student there, and they came back to City College of San Francisco, did really well academically, buckled down, but also got involved with clubs and organizations and worked as a student ambassador. And now that student is in their senior year at UC Berkeley right now.
Yeah, and there's so many stories about that. We've had dreamer students who wanted to get more access and more opportunities, so they chose a community college, getting into the UC system. I know so many students who got into 4-year colleges but couldn't get into the nursing program, realized after getting their bachelor's degree, I really want to be a nurse, and then went to City College to get their RN degree. And I remember when my dad had chemotherapy, he had 2 nurses, one from Johns Hopkins University and one who was a graduate from City College of San Francisco, who only got her RN degree over there. And they did the exact same work. Exact same title, exact same position. And so a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of those different stories. And that's why it's great where you could be coming in as a high school student or coming in as an old person like me at any time of interest. And even take some non-credit classes if you're just interested in building up your skills. Isn't that correct as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we definitely do that, and for the parents and guardians listening out there too, and grandparents and stuff. The college is not just for young people or high school students, but it is a community college. So if folks want to come back or take non-credit classes, which always are free and always will be free. They can certainly do that in English as a second language, for example. At City College, we have a very popular non-credit custodial class at our Evans Center.
Yes.
That's usually packed on Saturdays, and that leads to a non-credit certificate and jobs that pay very well. So yeah, it's absolutely a great option.
Yeah, that's why my son's going back to City to get a keyboarding class, so he knows how to type faster. So community, if there's students out there or even parents or guardians, if they're interested in the community college opportunity, how can they begin to explore which program and which community college since there's so much out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think certainly Googling or doing a web search on the state chancellor's office to find what's out there, because there are different flavors of community colleges and different sizes and different proximities. There are also some students that might want to take advantage of community college and get away. So we certainly see that here at City College, with San Francisco being a destination city, that we get students from different parts of the country and state that specifically want to be in San Francisco and study here. On the flip side, there are some students who are able to go to other parts of California to do that. I know when I was working in San Mateo County in the San Mateo Community College District, some of the high school students would go to Santa Barbara City College or move down to Southern California to go to Santa Monica. So that's the beauty of it, is that it's not restricted necessarily by where you live, like public high school districts might be, but actually if you live in California, you have access to all 115 of our community colleges, and as many of us grow with online programs, you really have access to so many. But I think the website is a great start for folks. But I would highly encourage also taking the time to go on a campus tour or visit, because that's how one can really find out if it's the right fit for you. You can get access to the facilities. You can see if housing is available at those particular community colleges. And also just kind of get a feel for asking students on that campus how they like it and what are the pluses and deltas or pros and cons of their experience. But I think that the websites are a really good place to start. I also think that because there's no cost to applying and things like that, it's good to, just like we advise and recommend that students apply widely for university admission, I think it's fair and great to apply widely for community college, just because you don't have to commit financially to an application fee, and you can decide once it's time to enroll where you want to go and research that. But I think the websites are great, and I think I could speak for most community colleges that they're more than happy to send over any material that you'd like if the website isn't giving you all the information you like. But the California Community College Chancellor's Office has a lot of updates about kind of new initiatives, like, for example, the first year of community college for full-time recent high school grads is going to be free at all community colleges because of AB 19. So that's a really exciting thing.
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit more to our listeners who may not be familiar with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, for students who are graduating high school or recent high school grads, if they choose to go to community college full